Good morning, my friends, my watchers, my viewers, my lovely, wonderful people. How are you this morning? It's Sunday. For me, at least. On the other side of the world, who knows what time it is? Going into the wrong one. I got up late. I had a late start. But I had a late night. That was well worth it. Got to go see Caren last night. I was like, holy, that can't be. But no, look at it. Like with my own eyes. You're Wise One channel. It's your host, Lady Caren. Good morning. I'm totally awake. Yes, I've been awake watching YouTube, cookies, and taking coffee, and I'm trying to get awake enough to do this. We're going to go ahead and let's start with our deep breathing. Just going to take a deep breath in. Let it out as far as it can go. Deep breath in. Hold for a second. Let it out. And as you let it out, I'm going to relax. Just going to let the body just kind of untense muscles all the way from tippy top to all the way to tippy tip. Again, breathe in. Grab that diaphragm, lift that solar plexus, push that in. Expanding my lower lungs, like my tummy inflated like a balloon. And I'm just going to let it out. It's that great relaxing. That relaxation as you let it out. Grab. Let's see. I hope you guys are doing well today. I have to go fix the lighting. Alright. I have got to get today's fun going. I still only have a single pack of tarot, Sacred Circle Tarot, made by Emma Franklin and Paul Mason, illustrated by Paul Mason. Look at all the pretty pictures. So we got the moon. So I just randomly, instinctually, looked up the moon, and we're looking at the full moon tonight. We have a full moon. It looks like by the time we have moonrise, it's going to be cloudy. So I may not be able to see it, but it's still worth putting out the moon water, huh? No? I've got a giant shower. Yeah, I might use sink water because I didn't collect any rainwater. When you collect the rainwater, you gotta make sure it's clean or filtered. And you gotta make sure it doesn't stick it or bugs can get in and bacteria grow. And our rainwater is probably not as fresh as it was a couple dozen years ago. So let's focus on what today can give us. Bring our mind through. Focus as we shuffle. All my thoughts. A daily card. Let's get familiar with cards. So what we got? Let me do this with cards. I mean, if you're in the closet, which, where you're not out about telling everybody, you can do this with a deck of cards. You'll get the minor arcane, not the major arcane. But you can get the minor arcane with, So I split the deck, and first turn today, lucky old me, I popped up a non-reversed. So, that gorgeous. It's reflective. I think I've probably used the High Priestess. Number 2. So this is of the major arcane. And it's not reversed. I need to show back in there. So we're not looking back at the, and we're bringing major arcana 0, 2 symbolism, definitive meaning. The card of the High Priestess represents the link to the subconscious mind, the inner world itself, which cannot be accessed through the intellect or making consciousness, but which is only revealed on dreams and symbols. It is the underworld womb of the goddess in which seeds are planted and grow towards the light. Its hidden working shaping the underlying personality and responses to the individual, which become manifest in your everyday world. The card is telling you to pay attention to your dreams and intuition, a facet of you that is trying to make itself known. There's so much to discuss on my own experience, but we'll continue. When the card appears at a spread, it indicates that your life is changing. Things that once seemed so certain can no longer be taken for granted. Some puzzling mysteries become more clear, but all is not yet revealed at this point. On the bonus side, you will find that your intuitive powers are increasing and you may be inspired to be creative. This is a particularly good card for poets and writers. Depending on the surrounding cards, the High Priestess can mean that a noble and gentle influence will enter your life in the form of a woman, either a friend or a lover. Spiritually, you're about to attain a new level of enlightenment. You may realize the power of your intuition to have begun to study psychic matters. This card indicates a particular attraction to the occult, a thirst for secret knowledge. At this point, you may pay attention to the known of the swan, the lessons of the swan. She is a guide from the other world, consciousness parting the one swan-filled mist to allow access. Swan is telling you that knowledge will not come at the time through actions or intellectual endeavors, but by listening to your inner voice of the spirit, which may be missed in the hurly-burly of chatter and business. Push aside times of silence when you could become aware and listen. That's a good code. Yeah, I really value the unseen things that make up as our world. We get that stuff going. My hands are not loose this morning. I may have just developed new muscles. So, I wonder what that message could mean for you. It doesn't necessarily mean it's meant for you, but what it can mean to you. I don't know the way that the world is. I don't know the way that you're in that world. Um, yeah, last night dreamt a lot of wonderful things, but mostly when I woke up, the most prevalent thing that I wanted to talk about today. So again, we've touched on how to make the part of the brain that processes your emotions or gives you an emotional response is the very same thing that has all the informational input, goes through this part of your brain, goes through the part that, so you literally can't have thoughts without emotions. You can't process the information without it being an emotional process. And I've started looking at the aspects of being emotionally led. I'm going to have to elaborate because these are two different words that aren't usually associated together. And this is in the way that I was raised, in the way that I have learned to view the world as a child, and the way that I changed my perspective nowadays. Learning that is, I've learned that in order to get the executive function or to get the part that knows what it's supposed to do, and understands what a logical choice is versus the part that draws in or that moves you to action, the part that executes your actions, the part that your physical form. If those two aren't lined up, what will happen would be inaction sometimes, or inappropriate action. So it seems the more that you don't understand your emotion. And a lot of people, I'm sitting here looking at the bipolar and the crazy and the switch dippers and I've learned through my own experience that similar situations where I have these experiences where I understand more of where that emotion came from, what that emotion is for, and why I'm designed to have that emotion or what that emotion is designed for. Why do we get angry? Why do we feel upset? Why do we have these things that a lot of times socially are unacceptable behaviors, but yet everybody has them? Why didn't you learn in kindergarten how to do? Why are they learning it in kindergarten? Why? What was it that we were born with it for? So your emotions are a gift from the great divine. I mean, you are designed. If we are looking at a great cosmic design, scientifically, spiritually, physically, on so many forms that are perceived in so many ways, we look at that and we look at the fact that we all have emotions and the fact that you can watch emotional responses from a lot of animals, certain things. You got to think here. Emotions are a common figure. Long before your logical responses can't occur without emotions. And so you all have them. But it seems that somehow on the journey to adulthood or journey of getting older, we have learned coping mechanisms in our lives where we ignore the emotions and where they come out in appropriate actions, where we are feeling emotions and unaware of the emotions that we're feeling. And those lead to sporadic. So a person who may inappropriately behave, or a person who's irrationally active, who acts irrational, or who doesn't, it seems that the more that they're not emotionally aware, their emotion IQ may be low, or they are just struggling with emotions that they don't know. A lot of times, when they can't turn off, can't turn off the accepting of their feelings, a lot of times it moves to drugs. A lot of times you've seen the result being drug addiction. Uh, they so same situation, and two people go through. One person is emotionally balanced, and the other person is not. Um, they're stressed out. So they could be going through a situation, and some person could calmly say, a fire is in the building and you have to evacuate. Somebody could be calmly saying, hey, we got to move out of the building. Hey, let's all move to the exits, start moving to the exits. And another person's like, we're all going to die. And they scream and they run and they trample people and panic ensues. It's not as if a fire isn't happening to the other person who's calm. It's still an emergency that could result in death. And fires move very quickly. And unknowingly, something could happen. You're in a very stressed out situation. But the way two people have an emotional response and what they know about what to do with that emotion changes the results of what can occur. We still, some of us feel with the pattern recognition, some of us feel like what's going to happen. Um, I still like it's all probable. All things are possible. The probability is which where I doubt or lay my predictions and my findings. It's all in probability. So we can go through a lot of people in trauma response, and notice that there is a lot of trauma response. Those in trauma response that aren't aware of their emotions and are going through it can have quite a different life than somebody who is going through it and it's not traumatic. So a lot of people go, oh, that person's just crazy. That person's feelings were not validated, were not understood, and they don't understand. And they're going through, it's important, something very important to them. And very rarely have I ever found anybody doing something without a reason. And so if we go with putting our emotions first, you don't have to over talk somebody who's emotional. And so more likely, actions speak so much louder than a long explanation to help you feel better. Don't walk on eggshells around somebody who's emotional. Confidence and consistency gets you more results with those who are seemingly emotionally unbalanced, and those who are emotionally balanced do well in an environment where there's confidence and consistency. I don't mean overconfidence on it. I don't mean fake confidence. I mean, you know your shit and you know how you feel. So you know that there's great divinity out there, however you want to put it in perspective, the confidence in it. You could test it, and it's okay to test it. It's going to be there whether or not you say it's true or you say it's false. Good divinity. It's sorry. To me, my perspective, my faith, my undying, I know it's there. And it's this commonality amongst so many living things that Jesus, it's there. We're not without it. And we're not without this connection to each other, but we have learned to flip off somehow. There are certain ways that people disconnect. So, a way to connect would be to put the emotions first and allow the thoughts to follow and the words to follow and the intellect to justify, to understand, to to put the finishing touches or the framework on your thoughts, on your feelings. So you too, you get all of those, all those thoughts, all that information that gets processed through emotionally that brings up to executive function, that dopamine release, everything gives you these three basic categories that everything gets subcategory off. Is it something to move towards? Is it something to move away from? Or is it something to neutral and study and observe and no judgment? So a lot of times, do we want more of something? Do we want to avoid it, as in that means our untimely death? Or do we want to wait for more information? And if you give that kind of justification when dealing with your thoughts, dealing with your results, and dealing with, in faith and in learning and in all things, the way you dress, the way you get up and comb your hair and go and drink water, choosing or being conscious of a choice. That is another thing. Big wise choices, make good decisions. I want to shove that someplace because we make incalculable amount of decisions in any amount of time, anywhere from a second to a day or a year's worth of decisions. Deciding. We're only aware of so many of our decisions. So the more decisions that we bring to our consciousness and an understanding of the emotional with that decision, that is how you can navigate more firmly, with more confidence, is knowing your emotions and knowing, and your connection with our planet Earth, with our great goddess, with Mother Nature, with the spirits of God. It's beautiful. When you move with those connections, from there as a base, as a foundation, it's a very firm place. The results in your life can change drastically. And that's why I'm so into faith. Even when I believed there was no God, like the way that I was taught about God, of course there is no God. But then finding my own faith is essentially important, especially witchcraft. Because it's a lot of human nature. I've noticed that things we just naturally do. It's learning how our subconscious operates, on how our consciousness results in these things, in these rituals and these spells and in these ways of hexes and things, that how things naturally occur, again and again and again and again. Good morning. You want to say hi to the viewers? Hi, YouTube. Yeah. Other side. Let's keep that. Do you remember what you're doing? Oh, yeah. But that is my great put on that. So we'll probably have to go more into emotions, because I touched a very broad stroke about all that is. Lots of counseling. So the fact that it takes a paid professional for us to understand a basic human need. Why are all these certain people being taught this? The ones that are so screwed up, they go out to go seek this knowledge. I don't know. But I do notice that it is a lot of trauma response, that we traumatize each other. And for us with autism, a lot of things that are minute and small to other people can have lasting impacts to us, where we relive things that we feel are unjustly happened. And that a lot of people are like, it's so common, we just accept it. And I'm like, no. We create. We are the people. We are the people. We are. An individual is part of the consensus, the amount of people. So the individual is a contributing factor to a crowd, just to let you know. So the more educated we find ourselves in forms of certain disciplines, the more we influence as we are influenced. The give and pull, the give and take, the push and the pull of our beautiful organism of society that we are on this planet Earth, and the accumulation of these electrical charges that our brain disperses, and neurons and neuron transmitters, and these are wonderful. It gets to be quite an exciting journey in the way that we are designed. But yeah, so if we put our emotional understanding first, if we feel an emotion, we learn to let that emotion have its time and have its validity. This is entertaining. And we have that validity, and we allow that emotion to wash over us, and then we bring it to conscious decision on what we want to do about it. What do we want to engage? Action or inaction, aversion or moving towards. And these things that are powerful tools that we learn in pagan craft and witchcraft, and in Wicca, and then all these occults. Yeah, respects privacy. Okay, but yeah, the more that we realize what our emotions are, why we're angry, the more we can take actions that are appropriate, the more we can take our rational decisions, the more we like to do something, more likely we are to engage in that activity. Doesn't mean that for attention deficit disorder that we're going to do the activity just because we. I should learn how to pause these live videos so we can have his privacy. But yeah, the more we can engage in the activity where we feel confident and good about our actions and inactions and in the results, where we can feel confident about dealing with the consequences of our actions, where we feel justified, where we feel adequate, where we feel enough, and we understand the actions. We can better understand possible and probable actions of other people in the environment around us. So it's first the learn of ourselves, then it is the learn of others, and then it's the learn of our environment that'll allow us this type of discipline that give us a sense of control. And I will tell you, control is an illusion. I haven't come across where control is actually a thing, but we do have an illusion of control, and having a discipline allows us the results of things that give us securities that allow us to feel a sense of control. And it gives us quite a bit more power that we should have, that all people should have. Yeah, our presence. These are very powerful points to practice in our lives, to consider and to move and to perform. and other episodes, we're going to go into emotions so that we can better educate ourselves and our lifestyle of becoming wise, to moving to wise decisions and wise actions and wise ways of living, with the result of wisdom being something that we find enduring and quite an endeavor that overlasts. Unwise, unwise. I don't think there's thing. Unwise decisions and unwise actions, and yeah, he wants me to have my own studio, so he doesn't have to do that. So he doesn't have to do that. And I don't blame him, but I find it entertaining. Yes, I should. But yeah, so emotionally, and intellect is an extremely powerful course of human understanding and humanity. All right, I love you guys, and I hope you guys are doing well with all the things that are going on anywhere from Ukraine to Iran. I really hope you guys are doing well. The world is in an interesting bit of turmoil in certain aspects, as well as there can be beauty and peace found in several other places of the earth, and we can't forget that those exist. It is important to remember and to pay attention to certain aspects that are occurring on this beautiful planet. I am going to let you guys go. I love you guys, and I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for joining. Hitting like and subscribe seems to do things to certain YouTube algorithms, and that's okay. But yeah, so far you're getting exclusive shows with the Wise One. I love you guys, and I hope you guys are going to have a well day. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Until next I see you again, or you see me.